are live. I was not knowing if our intro was playing or not. I could not tell. It was just a black screen. I was like, oh boy, this could be a problem. But we are live. Do or die, baby. Playoff edition, week 15. The waivers are hot and heavy. It's a dumpster fire out there, but there are guys you can get. If you are in need of players or if you want to take a shot at certain guys, there are some potential pathways to finding relevant players at this time of year because, like we saw in multiple backfields last week, guys just went down and guys stepped up. So it's myself and Jeremy. Hashtag Patrick Taylor doing it.
Darn right.
Yes, it is. How you doing today, Jeremy?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I am not doing the Patrick Taylor this week. I'm a little scared about what else is happening there, including it being San Francisco, and you never know what the hell Kyle Shanahan's going to do. But yeah, look, we had some victories, we had some defeats in week 14, but we roll on. We make sure we get into the playoffs. I was showing Jesse a league I'm in where I was second in points, first in points again. I finished ninth out of 10 teams. So I got the number 2 pick. But what the hell? Like, this is like a microcosm of my season, man. Ugh.
Yeah, those are the worst leagues, and where you almost want to go against just scoring and not play teams because those teams feel cursed, right? No matter what you do, you continue to score. Yeah, I have a team that was like second in points scored in the league, and they're the 8 seed. I barely stuck at the 8 seed because every week I'm getting murdered by no other team, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm putting up a good team here, second in points again. I'm like, yeah, you live and learn. So now we just got to make a dramatic comeback from the 8 seed and take down all the top teams and just put it together. Probably won't happen, but that's what we're here talking about, right? That's what we're here for. All right, let's talk about some of these wide receivers. I think Elijah Moore is by far he's really cheap, and he gets Kansas City. They struggle against slot wide receivers, particularly. Yep. Elijah Moore is a very much a slot wide receiver. I think Tillman's coming back, which means Elijah Moore is going to play strictly in the slot this week, which is why I like him a little bit more. We'll see if Tillman comes back or not. It's still an injury that's kind of lingering. But like in that concentrated target share, you can see Elijah Moore putting up double-digit targets, having close to 100 yards in this game because Kansas City, surprisingly, second half of the year, they're bottom 10 in points allowed to wide receiver position. Like it has completely turned for them. Yep. So we'll see. I think in this matchup with Jameis, it's a roller coaster with Jameis, but there's going to be passing yards on the table. They're always there with Jameis. So I think Elijah Moore is my must-get wide receiver priority guy if you want to get him. And then we can kind of get into the Chargers wide receivers because of the whole Ladd situation. We saw Quentin Johnston. I know everybody talks about Stonehands. He still saw 7 targets last week. He gave you 5 receptions, had a touchdown. Or Joshua Palmer, who had 9 targets last week. He had 6 receptions, 78 yards. They're playing Tampa Bay. I think you could play both of those guys if Ladd's out. If Ladd comes back, Palmer looks like he's finally getting the snaps. I would prefer Palmer over Quentin Johnston. Where do you kind of stand on the Chargers wide receivers, and then maybe Elijah Moore and the rest of the wide receivers out there?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because QJ I prefer if Ladd doesn't play. But I think you're right. If Ladd plays, I don't really want either of these guys, but I probably feel safer with Palmer just because QJ isn't always going to catch the ball like he did last week. He was hyper-focused, and he made a few nice grabs to his credit last week, hands catches. But look, the guy that I want is Adam Thielen. If he is still out there, you have to go out and get him. The targets are insane. 11 and 10 the last 2 weeks. And he did it against Philly last week. He really shouldn't have, but he was wide open. Adam Thielen still has his separation. And they profiled a few of his routes. He's absolutely out there cooking guys. He's just got that old vet knowledge of how to cook these guys. And he's still got enough juice to create a crap ton of separation. So Adam Thielen is a guy I really want to go out and get. And then another guy who's interesting only in PPR leagues because he doesn't really score is Devon Vele. He's interesting. They have decent matchups in Denver, and Vele has proven that he can get open and be a reliable volume target for Bo Nix. So he's another guy I would consider, but only in PPR leagues.
Yeah, because Thielen's at 70% roster, so I'm not expecting him to be available because, he's had 2 back-to-back good weeks coming off of the bye and the injuries and stuff.
Very true.
So people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I want Thielen. They're not really thinking about Devon Vele or these other guys. I think that's a really good recommendation. Mm-hmm. Now it's a little bit more uncertain, but you're right. In PPR leagues, I think it's good. You look at a couple of other guys, even QJ's at 55%, so I think it's unlikely he's available, but there's a shot, and that's what we're talking about. If there's a shot they're available, take your shot. I think you could do the Ray – we're getting a little bit deeper here. If you want to go Waiver and McLeod, they're going against Vegas, right? We know how the defense is. He just came off an 11-target game. Now, they were trailing in this game basically the entire time against Minnesota. That's why they threw it so much. I don't expect them to throw it so much, but like we see this, McLeod will have these bigger games. He's had multiple. I think he's had 5 or 6 games with at least 7 targets this year. So he's been involved in this offense. He's got 72 targets on the season. It's not Kyle Pitts. That's the third option. It's Waiver and McLeod, which is just bonkers to talk about. But that's where we're at. We kind of have to adjust. We should have adjusted a long time ago. I think he's not a bad one. Yeah, go ahead.
Do not chase Tim Patrick. That's just an anomaly. I think he only had 4 targets and caught them all. Of course, the 2 touchdowns for Tim Patrick. But they're going against Buffalo this week. I mean, that's just a no-go for outside wide receivers who are past their prime. So there's no way that you want to go Tim Patrick. The one thing that's nice is that defenses will cover everybody else in this offense and leave him wide open. That's just not going to happen every game. Buffalo, Chicago, who has really been bad the last few weeks in the secondary, and San Francisco. So he has a nice schedule, but I'm not chasing those Tim Patrick points. I would much prefer to go out and get a guy like currently on my waiver wire right now in my home league, of course, short benches. You mentioned Elijah Moore, but Romeo Doubs as well.
Yep.
Doubs is an interesting guy. He's been hyper-targeted when he has been on the field despite a crowded room. So he's an interesting get. But, yeah, Elijah Moore is the guy you empty the bank for.
Yeah, I think so. And, yeah, Doubs is like just over 50%. People are kind of getting tired because he's missed a couple weeks, right? And they have a matchup against the Seahawks where you could do good things against the Seahawks. The one guy that I also want to bring up is Noah Brown. He's basically at 13% roster in sleeper leagues. The guys are second, like number 2 target, like on that offense with Jaden Daniels. Now the offense has taken a downward spiral the last month, but they're playing New Orleans this week. That New Orleans defense is a shell of itself. Noah Brown could go off for 8, 9, 10 targets. He's done this multiple times this year. He can have a blow-up game. So I think if you're looking at this desperation, you kind of just need production for 1 week. Like, I don't mind chasing Noah Brown against New Orleans because you could do worse, man. You could for sure do worse.
You could.
All right. So thank you all for joining us. We're almost pushing an hour, and that's a long waiver wire episode because there's not that many guys available. So we are shooting the shit quite well this day. Yeah, we're going to jump into rankings. Try to do it tomorrow. If not, we'll release them on Thursday. We'll go through the week. You know what it is at this point. We have pretty much solidified what we're doing each every week. Saturday's a roundtable, and then join us for the Sit Start playoff edition on Sunday. So, make or break. Don't hold it against us if we get it wrong. We're going to get some wrong, but we will try to do it as right as possible. If I'm hitting 60%, I'll call it a win. I know that doesn't sound great, but that's like a win, right? So, for myself, for Jeremy, for SC, and for Aaron, we are the FFU. And take care. Go get those waiver wire guys and win your week 15. March on to the playoffs. See ya, folks. Listen up.